Jorge Masvidal lost probably the biggest fight of his career. It was his chance to once again fight for the title and try to get something that he's always strived for, right? The UFC championship belt. Now he is the BMF title, but that's not the UFC championship. Unfortunately for Jorge and his fans, he fell a little short. I know, especially in MMA, a lot of talk happens when a guy loses. It instantly goes to, is this guy washed? Does anybody care? This guy is garbage. How did he expect to beat Kamaru Usman? How did this guy expect to beat anybody? He's not dog water. So a lot of talk is going to be about Jorge Masvidal. Yes, he lost, but this is not the end of him. I feel like he has at least 2 more fights in his future. And yes, it might not be as big of a draw as, say, Jorge Masvidal versus Nate Diaz 2 off of a UFC title fight win. But it's still big, right? So that's one of the fights that Jorge Masvidal has in front of him. He can go out there and face Nate Diaz in a rematch for the BMF title, still garner some attention, right? A lot of people love Jorge Masvidal or like Jorge Masvidal, not necessarily because he's the best fighter out there, not because he's a champion. It's more because of who he is, right? His journey, his story, everything behind that. Now, he can go and face Nate Diaz. Say Nate Diaz faces Leon Edwards and loses. You can match those 2 guys up. It'll be a fun little matchup, nice payday for both guys, and it'll garner some attention. The second fight is a grudge match, right? So, as you can see, Colby Covington was at the fight, and they didn't spare any time. Right when he got knocked out, they zoomed right onto Colby for a reaction, just to see what he would do. And it's clear that there's still bad blood between them two. The story is very, very deep with them. They were training partners. They slept on. Colby slept on Jorge's couch for a long time. They were like brothers for a while, and then it turned sour and whatnot. That fight doesn't need a title in the picture. That fight can sell. That fight is something that a lot of us would want to see, especially myself. Before the Usman versus Jorge match, Jorge Masvidal was scheduled the second fight. There was a lot of talk about why Colby versus Jorge is not happening, right? Well, why isn't that fight not happening, right? And I talked back then. I was talking to my co-host that's sitting over there. I said, why would Usman kill all these birds with one stone? Why would Usman give up his title shot payday? Why would he give up his grudge match plus give up any other future showings or pay-per-view buy, like high pay-per-view buy rate pay-per-views in the future? He can go and fight these guys all individually and still draw pay-per-views, still generate money, still have popularity. So he has those 2 matchups. And now there's a third matchup that could possibly happen, but I don't know how interested this person would be in it. It's Leon Edwards. So there is a possibility that Jorge Masvidal waits it out, sees what happens between Nate Diaz versus Leon Edwards, and then goes in there and faces Leon Edwards. One thing, there's a trend that's going on in the welterweight division, especially surrounding Leon Edwards, is trying to take Leon's spot. So Khamzat tried to do that, tried to take his 8-win fight streak and propel himself to the top of the division. And now Nate Diaz is doing it. Nate Diaz is clearly he's trying to face a top welterweight contender that could fight for the title next, and use that to get his own title shot. Jorge Masvidal, I don't think this is for certain, but there's a chance that if Leon beats Nate Diaz, Jorge challenges Leon for a another potential number 1 contendership. But who knows? Who knows what happens in the future? But for sure, Colby versus Nate is in our futures, in his future. Leon is also out there.